Welcome to lesson 12. Kind of stepping into a bit of a new thing here. So pause the video, have a go. There's a reasonable chance you won't be able to do it, which is fine. In which case, have a bit of a go and then come back after pause. Right, so make sure you pause the video. I'm about to give the answer. X equals minus 2 or X equals minus 3. So maybe you're really comfortable with this question, in which case you can skip on to the next one. Otherwise, I'm going to talk this through a bit. Let's first of all look at just the big picture. Well, it's a solve question, and it kind of looks a bit messy. I think messy is a good word. You're often going to get questions that are messy, which means you've got to tidy them up. One of the things for tidying up, especially solve questions, but in general a lot of things, is to get rid of fractions. Oh, I don't like fractions. Well, there are only fractions here anyway. Brackets, generally we don't like brackets. Oh, well, let's get rid of the brackets. So I'm going to multiply this out. I'm going to end up with x squared plus 5x. So I'm kind of skipping a bit here. I'm obviously take your time in reality doing this. I'm just saving time just to explain it. But you can test it. That definitely works. Right, what do we do now? Well, we look at it and we go, oh, there's an x squared and an x, which is two different types of thing. And there's only one equation. Isn't that a problem? Because we can't solve, that means it's not possible. Oh wait, but it is possible. Because we can use the trick, which we always have to be on the lookout for, which is if it's an x squared thing like this, we need to be equal to 0. How do we make it equal to 0? We add 2 to both sides, which means that will cancel with the minus 2 on the right. Which means we end up with x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now, we can factorize, which we've done this question many times before. We're doing it again. Let's just keep you recycling the same question on this particular topic, because it means we can focus on other aspects of the learning. There we go. And I'm going to minus 2 from both sides here, which means x equals minus 2. Oh, look, there we go, as I said. And then we minus 3 from both sides here, so we end up with x equals minus 3. Sorted. It's going to become an increasing theme as we carry on with these lessons, which we're going to be looking at messy questions, which are combinations of different things. But mainly messy questions, we have to tidy things up. So we had to tidy up, didn't we? We had to, there's brackets, get rid of the brackets. Oh, it's one of those questions. We're going to make equal to 0, blah, blah, blah. So it's going to be an increasingly a thing that we just kind of have to tidy up as we go along. Have a go in your own time. Okay, I'm going to do this by inspection. I'm going to say something over 5 minus 2 over 5 must be equal to 1. Well, let's say, 1 is obviously 5 over 5, so something minus 2 is 5, so that must be 7. So y equals 7. That'll do. Remember before how I talked about, well, you can do it. So you could kick off by multiplying by 5 and then do all the rest, but I'm not going to do that here. Let's do the next question. We have more than one equation here, so I'll let you know when I've written them all out. There we go, done it. Have a go in your own time, and then I'll show you my answer. So, the answer is, just so if you're confident, you can just skip. P equals 1 and Q equals 2. Now let's actually work it out. Well, let's start off with this one. In fact, we just start here. Divide by 3, P equals 1. Boom, done. Now, we'll take this equation, and we now know that P is 1, so we've got 5 times 1 plus Q equals 7. So 5 plus Q equals 7. I'm going to minus 5. Right, I want Q on its own. So I'm going to minus 5 from both sides, so I end up with 5 plus Q minus 5 equals 7 minus 5. Sometimes I write it out, and sometimes I just do this quicker. It just depends. They cancel, so I end up with Q equals 2. There we go. Done. Shock. We're already moving away from the solve questions. Isn't this amazing? Okay. Okay, have a go in your own time. Factorize means put it into brackets. So the answer is this. That's the answer. I'm about to move on to the next question, but I just want to say, if you tried to solve it and said x equals minus 2, x equals minus 3, that's wrong. Just in case you did it, because there was no equals 0. And it said factorize, and factorize means put into brackets. So be very careful that you identify what you're supposed to be doing. And in fact, there is a bonus lesson on that topic, because I know this is now that we're starting to mix and match, I know this can become an issue. So we've got a bonus lesson if you want to do it, which will help you get used to spotting what to do. But simplify if possible. So again, the answer may be not possible. There's a few of them here, but I'll tell you when I've finished. Just going to tidy up that bottom just to make it clear what that is. Have a go. That's all of them. Have a go in your own time, and I'll see you back here in a sec. Right, let's just go through the answers. There's an x and an x. There's two of them, so there's two x's. There you go. That's the answer there. This is the same as x times y divided by x times x. So those x's cancel, because if you times and divide by something, you're wasting your time. It's just the same as doing nothing. This one is interesting. It's not possible. I'll come back to this again in a minute, in case you've got a question there. Oh, x squared is exactly the same as x squared. So if you take x squared and minus x squared, you end up with nothing. Let's just look at this one very carefully. Let's put a plus in front of that. So we've got a plus x, a plus x, and a minus x. So the minus x and one of the plus x's cancel, leaving us with x. Oh look, we've got two x's. So we've got x squared plus a couple of x's. Save time by writing them together. Now this next one's interesting. This actually is possible. Here's the thing, and it's a theme in today's lesson. This idea that you kind of look at something when you're doing maths and you go, well, you know, what can I do? Is there something I can do that might help? Well, the top, we could factorize it, couldn't we? Why don't we factorize the top? It may not be useful, in which case it's fine. We didn't need to bother. We haven't lost anything. Just gave it a go, it didn't work. Oh, wait. Remember, we can just stick brackets around here if it helps. It doesn't make any difference. It's just a thing on the bottom. You now have, so let's just be clear, you now have three objects that are being you've got two objects on the top being multiplied together and then an object on the bottom, and these two are the same, so they cancel, which means the answer is x plus 3. So that's the answer to the last one. I said that I'd come back to here. I just want to address something here. You may have done this. You may have said x over x squared plus y over x squared. Reason being, if you've got one thing in the denominator and more than one thing on the top, you can separate them, which then means you can cancel here and you end up with 1 over x. So you'd have 1 over x plus y over x squared. If you did that, I'm going to say it's not wrong. It's highly debatable whether that's simpler or not. I don't think that would make it as an exam question because it's too ambiguous. I consider, for me, it's not possible. For me, that's not really simpler, but I mean, it's a matter of this is now a matter of subjectivity, so maybe you think that's simpler, in which case, well, that's the answer. Next question. Got a calculate question next. I'll let you know when I've finished writing them all down. Oh, I said I wouldn't do another. Did I say I wouldn't do another divide with fractions? Well, it seems like I have. So, there you go. See if you can remember what we did last time. There we go. Have a go in your own time. And my answers are, well, I'm going to do this carefully. I've got half plus a half times a half, so that's 1, and then on the bottom 2 times 2 makes 4. I'm going to make that into 2 over 4 by times the top bottom by 2. That's a quarter, so that's 3/4. This one, if it's a divide, you can always turn it into 1 minus a half times 2 over 1. Because remember, if you flip the fraction, you change it from divide to times. Now you've got 1 times 2 divided by 2 times 1, which is essentially a half minus 1. Because, well, let's just spell it, which is 2 over 2, which is 1 half minus 1, which is minus a half. I just did that last bit in my head. Okay, now let's look at the next one. I'm going to stick a plus sign in front. We've got 4 objects. I'm spelling this out in case you made a mistake. We've got a plus half and a minus a half, but notice we've got 2 plus thirds, so this is a third plus a third, which is, well, 2/3. And again, this one, we changed it into a times by flipping the last, I just wrote that completely wrong, by flipping the last fraction. 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 1 is 2. That's the final answer. Let's do the next question. I'm saying plot, let's actually say sketch. Have a go in your own time. It's another messy question. It's a messy question. We need to tidy it up. Which means I'm going to add 3 to both sides, because when I'm drawing graphs I always want it to be y equals. Then I've got y minus 3 plus 3 equals x plus 3. They cancel. I've got y equals x plus 3. Bingo, that's what I wanted. I can draw a graph of that because I'm used to having y in the front. And that would be, well, I can draw a table. For example, x, y. Well, I'll show you what the answer is and then we'll just justify up the table. That's a y. Make sure I label the top axis as well. So for example, if x is 0, y is 3. There you go, that's that point. Let's just mark that there. If x is minus 2, then y is, what's minus 2 plus 3? That's 1, so, and so on. And you end up working out where the line is. And just a little, yeah, that'll do. There's a lot more graph stuff in my maths book and its associated videos. Plot, but let's change it to sketch. Y equals x. Oh, I've written it, we're stuck with it. Y equals 3, y equals x, y equals x plus 3. Have a go at these. I'll change colour for drawing the actual line. And that's y equals 3, that's y equals x, and that's y equals x plus 3. In case you drew this first one wrong, remember, look, all those red dots, all these red dots that I'm drawing, each one has a different value of x. So x is varying. The crucial thing is it's y that's staying the same, hence y equals 3 crossing the axis of 3. And notice this is like the line y equals x, but y has 3 added to each time, therefore y is 3 larger and y represents how high it is, therefore it's higher by 3. Right, watch me. This isn't a question, this is just something just to watch me doing it. I'm going to expand this. Right, my choice, the way I like to do this, is there's 2 ways. We could expand this one first, but in this case I'm going to expand this one first because it seems easier, because I'm just used to doing that. Right, I'm going to do the first line in green. I'm going to put square brackets. Right, so that's x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 6. Because remember, x is times by all of that, so x still has to be times by all of that. So I'm just using a different type of bracket. So that's x squared plus 5x plus 6. So what do we do now? Let's use a different colour. Let's go on to red. Well, x is timesing everything. So that's going to be x cubed, because x times x squared is x cubed. X times 5x is 5x squared. X times 6 is 6x. That's the answer. The next question is a functions question. Again, I'm not going to actually write a question. This is just more practice getting used to how functions work, how to think about it. So I haven't, anything where I haven't written the answer, the challenge is, can you work it out? Have a go in your own time. See you back here. Right, well, we've got an equation here. F of x is 2x minus 1. So if it's f of 3, then it's going to be 2 times 3 minus 1, which is 6, which is 5. This will be 2 times 0 minus 1, because it's just to spell out, look, there's the x, there's the 3, there's the 0, everything else stays the same. 2 times 0 is 0, so that's going to be minus 1. If it's k, it's going to be 2k minus 1. If it's k cubed, it's going to be 2, and then in the blue circle, i.e. where the x was, we write k cubed minus 1. That's it.